G'day and welcome back. Welcome back, day 29. Day 29 of 30 days. Only today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day. Woo! 30 days. Got a comment already from Will. Wonder if the broadcast is going to happen the same time as yesterday. Yes, it is. We're here today. We're here. Will, thanks for being there and waiting for me. That's awesome. All right. Today we're going to talk about scale. We're going to talk about a couple of things. So, first of all, diminishing scale perspective. Now, it's not really what I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to throw that in there because when people talk about scale, sometimes people can get confused with the two. So what I'm talking about with scale is how you use elements in the frame to provide a visual reference point. So that's what we're going to talk about. So yeah, so I'll play the intro and we'll get into it. Now, I just have the one camera today because that one's not working. I don't know why. And some good news and some not so good news. Some good news, my audio stuff arrived. I've been promising that my audio will be improved, but I say that and it arrived today and it was broken. The whole box was broken. So it's like I've waited 2 weeks for it, as you know. So back to the drawing board. But now I'm allowed to actually drive to Melbourne now that lockdown's finished, so I can actually drive there and do that. Hey Sally, how you going? Alrighty. So yeah, tomorrow's the last day. My gosh, already. That really has flown by. Alright, so scale. Now I have this image here that I want to share with you. This one here. Okay. Now this is what we call diminishing scale perspective. Now I've kind of touched on this already when I was talked about lens to subject distortion and all this sort of thing. But this is one that, if you recognize this, the London Eye. It's pretty cool. Overlooking the Thames. It took me so long to understand Thames because it's spelled Thames. It makes no sense at all, but that's how they pronounce it. So this is diminishing scale perspective, where things in the distance look smaller, and you'll recognize this. You've experienced this yourself when you're taking a photo of a sunset, and the sunset is just so far away, or the sun is so far away, it looks smaller. So that provides depth because that's what we kind of associate, and we understand, recognize the things further away. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about the other one called scale. So it's not scale this, that, it's just scale. So it's adding a visual reference point. So looking inside my course here, let me just read it. Photographs are two-dimensional, introduce third dimension and depth. And to introduce third dimension and depth, they need dimensionality. That is a word. I looked it up. That is a word. So having something in there that we know the size of in the photo, even if we do have that diminishing scale perspective, and in the distance a car looks like a dot, we know how big a car is, so we can still use that as a reference point. Still with me? Makes sense? Another one is humans. Us humans, we know how big a person is because we are a person. Duh. I need a little button like that, like a Homer Simpson's duh. So it does. So having something in there that we know the size of, then everything else around it makes it look. Because if we don't have it, and when I judge photo competitions at the monthly photo competitions at camera clubs, haven't done that for a while since lockdown, but I used to do it regularly. One of the things that you would see these amazing landscapes, and it would look really grand, but because there was nothing in there like a barn or a car or a person or even a tree, that scale was just completely lost. Now because of the way they've framed it and all that sort of thing, you know that with the topic of the competition, you'll know that it's actually big and grand, but having something in there, it's just that little element that provides that scale, would have been dwarfed by those mountains and that sort of thing. So I've got another example here. Let's get back to me. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Which side am I going to go on? I think I'll go on that side. All right, so you can see here, this is an example that I'm talking about where we have some people in there. And this was down at the Otway Fly. It's an amazing place where you're up in the treetops, walking around, and you can see the paths down with the people in there. Now, just taking photos of the trees on their own, yes, the path, because of the width of the path, you kind of know how wide a path is. That gives you a reference point. That gives you scale. But where there's no path, then the trees, you don't really realize just how grand and how tall and ridiculously tall they are. But when you put a person in there, like in here, wait, lost all my screens there. Bring it back. What have I done here? There we go. All right, I'll try that again. So having the people in there, it adds that scale. It does. And quick tip, both my boys have got red jackets. They didn't choose the color of their jackets. I bought them red jackets because red, in a scene like this, I don't know these people. These people are random people. But you can see there, the red beanie just pops because of that color contrast. We've talked about this before. The color contrast, red and green are on the opposite sides of the color wheel, and it looks fantastic. So yeah, so my boys, whenever we go somewhere like this, they've got their red jackets just to make great photo subjects. Does that mean that I did that? Alrighty, what else have I got here? Large mountains. Yep, the magnitude is lost entirely without an anchor. That's what it is. It's a visual. It's an anchor point providing that scale. Okay, provides that wow factor. Bright clothing. Yes, I've talked about all that. Failing that, yeah. So what I'm saying there is failing that. If you don't have the people in there that provide that scale, I showed you how to move people inside a frame using that app called Handy Photo from Adversoft. An update on that Handy Photo. So their touch retouch, that app, it's coming soon. The total new interface. They're working around the clock. I was talking to them the other day, and they're super excited and super busy. So it's almost here, which is really exciting. I digress. Handy Photo was their other app where you can actually pick up an element and you can move it around, make it bigger. You can actually save that person in that photo, and then you can go and paste them into another photo. So if you have a photo like this and you think, oh geez, it would have been great if I had have put someone in there, you can do it. It's cheating, but it's fun. And like we're not doing photojournalism here. We're just having fun with our photos, aren't we? So it doesn't matter. All right. Okay. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that? Any questions about scale? Because I think I'm pretty much done there. Nice and quick one today. So I do apologize if I'm a bit flat. I'm a bit disappointed with my audio stuff. And while you're here, I'll show you something else that I've got that has disappointed me. This one here, because as you know, I now have the 13 Pro, very excited to get into the macro stuff, and I'm trying to set up, similar to my big camera macro set that I used to have, that I don't have anymore, because I got rid of most of my big stuff, big gear. I picked this up from Ulanzi, and I wanted to create the side lighting, so having two magic arms. These are called magic arms. These here, they're brilliant. You can move them around, all sorts of different twisty angles. And on one side of the tripod here, we have a thread, which is brilliant, but there's only one. So over here, they have a cold shoe mount. So I bought the cold shoe mount with a thread, and that can go in here. This got me so excited. I ordered the tripod, then I discovered this, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I bought two magic arms, and then realized that I didn't have this mount that goes from a thread to a cold shoe. So I've waited for 3 different deliveries. Finally got it today. Super excited. Going to go out there and take some photos of bees. All right, you set it all up. I hope you can see this. Oh, hang on. I should have prepared this, shouldn't I? All right, and this is in there. Okay, so I've got side lighting. Camera goes in here. Got one light shooting across, got another light shooting across, and they're fixed in position. All right, and have a look what happens when I let go. It doesn't stay there because this cold shoe mount, it rotates, which is fantastic, but there's not a, you can't tighten it up. Well, that said, you can't tighten it up. I think I've stripped it. I suspect that the screw goes into plastic. Over here you have metal into metal. Over here, I suspect I'm going to pull this all apart and have a good look inside. I suspect that it's thread into metal into plastic, and that's why it's stripped, and that's why it's doing that. So my audio gear turned up today, smashed, useless. Finally got this together, getting all excited, and then can't use it. It's fun, isn't it? It's all fun. All right, did you have any questions? Let's have a look. No questions about scale. All right, fantastic. I think we might wrap it up there then. Nice and quick one. Oh, that's brilliant, you guys saying hello to each other. Well done. And yeah, beautiful. So tomorrow is the last one. We're going to, yeah, I know. I was devastated. I can get another tripod to sit underneath here, get another tripod to hold it up in position like that, but it kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? So, yeah, I'll show you what I've got here. I'm ready to try and fix it. I've got all my screws, washers, everything. I'm going to get in there tonight, and I'm going to have fun pulling everything apart and see if I can fix it, because I'm not giving up on it. I think it's going to be a great system. I just need to make it work. So, alrighty. So we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, guys, for joining me, and I'll see you same time tomorrow, 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and we'll get into gesture and interaction. I think that's going to be a really cool one. So thanks again, and I'll see you then.